words that seem like endings. This is one of those stories, asterisk. The restaurant fell silent as Mark watched his date's expression change. Sorry, I'm in a wheelchair, she said, her voice barely audible over the ambient music. I should have told you before we met. She gestured to the wheelchair tucked discreetly beside their table, which he hadn't noticed when the hostess seated them. I understand if you want to leave. What happened next would change both their lives forever, and might just change yours too. If this story touches your heart, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more real stories that remind us what truly matters in life. Mark Reynolds hadn't planned on being a single father at 34. 3 years ago, his wife Lisa had complained of headaches that turned out to be an aggressive brain tumor. Within 6 months, she was gone, leaving him alone to raise their 7-year-old daughter, Emma. The grief had been all-consuming. For the first year, Mark moved through life like a ghost, going through the motions for Emma's sake. His world had narrowed to his daughter and his work as an architectural engineer. Dating was the furthest thing from his mind until Emma started asking innocent questions about whether Daddy was lonely, and if he might find someone to love again someday. Daddy, Ms. Peterson says everyone deserves a second chance at happiness, Emma had said one evening while he tucked her into bed, referring to her second-grade teacher. Don't you deserve one too? Those simple words from his daughter's mouth had pierced the protective shell he'd built around his heart. Maybe she was right. Maybe it was time. His first attempt at online dating had been disastrous, a woman who spent the entire evening talking about her ex-husband. The second date had gone better, but there was no spark. And now here he was on his third attempt, sitting across from Olivia Chen, a children's book illustrator with warm brown eyes and a smile that had immediately put him at ease when she'd arrived at the restaurant. For the first 20 minutes, their conversation had flowed effortlessly. They'd discussed their work, their favorite movies, and discovered a shared love of hiking in the mountains outside the city. Mark had felt something he hadn't experienced in years, a genuine connection. Then she'd excused herself to use the restroom, and when she returned, she was in the wheelchair she'd now revealed. The silence between them stretched as Mark processed her words. Olivia's fingers nervously traced the condensation on her water glass, her eyes downcast, clearly preparing herself for rejection. Why would I leave? Mark finally asked, his voice gentle. We were having a great conversation. I'd like to continue it, if that's okay with you. Olivia looked up, surprise evident in her expression. Most guys do, she said quietly. They see the chair and suddenly remember urgent appointments. Well, I don't have anywhere to be, Mark replied with a small smile. Except right here, getting to know you better. Relief washed over Olivia's face, followed by a cautious smile. I was in a car accident 5 years ago, she explained. T-boned by a driver who ran a red light. My spinal cord was damaged at the T10 level. I have some movement and sensation, but not enough to walk unassisted. Mark nodded, taking in the information. Thank you for telling me. That must have been incredibly difficult to go through. It was, she acknowledged. But it's part of who I am now. Not all of me, but a part. As their dinner continued, the initial awkwardness faded. Mark found himself drawn to Olivia's quick wit, her passion for her work illustrating children's books, and the quiet strength that radiated from her. By the time they finished dessert, the wheelchair had become just another detail in the landscape of their evening, no more defining than the color of the tablecloth or the music playing in the background. When Mark walked Olivia to her specially equipped van in the parking lot, he felt a familiar flutter in his chest, one he hadn't experienced since before Lisa got sick. It both excited and terrified him. I had a really nice time, he said, suddenly feeling like a teenager again. So did I, Olivia replied, her smile reaching her eyes. Though I'm still not sure why you stayed. Mark considered her words carefully before responding. Because when you smile, the whole room lights up. Because you laughed at my terrible architecture jokes. Because you have the same favorite book as my daughter. The wheelchair doesn't change any of that. Olivia's eyes glistened in the dim light of the parking lot. Most people see the chair first and me second, if at all. Their loss, Mark said simply. Would it be okay if I called you tomorrow? Olivia nodded, her smile widening. I'd like that. As Mark drove home that night, his mind raced with thoughts of Olivia. He wondered what Emma would think of her. His daughter had her mother's compassionate heart but also her straightforward nature. There would be questions, he knew. But somehow, he wasn't worried about that. The next morning over breakfast, Emma noticed something different about her father. You look happy, Daddy, she observed, spooning cereal into her mouth. I had a nice time last night, Mark admitted. I met someone I'd like to see again. Emma's eyes widened with interest. Is she pretty? Mark smiled. Very. And kind. And talented, she draws pictures for children's books. Really? Emma's excitement was palpable. Like my books? Exactly like that. Her name is Olivia. Can I meet her? Emma asked eagerly. Maybe soon, if things go well, Mark replied cautiously. But there's something you should know about Olivia. She uses a wheelchair to get around because her legs don't work the same way ours do. Emma considered this information with the straightforward acceptance that only children seem capable of. Like Billy in my class who has the special desk. Similar to that, yes. Emma nodded, apparently satisfied with this explanation. Does she like ice cream? Mark laughed. I don't know yet, but I can ask her. You should. Everybody nice likes ice cream, Emma declared with the absolute certainty of an 8-year-old. Over the next few weeks, Mark and Olivia's relationship deepened. They spoke daily and met for dinner twice more. Mark learned that before her accident, Olivia had been an avid rock climber and still maintained an impressive upper body strength. She'd fought through 2 years of rehabilitation to regain her independence and had only recently started dating again after a fiancé had left her during her recovery. He couldn't handle it, she explained during their 4th date, a picnic in the park. He said he loved me, but he couldn't see himself as a caretaker for the rest of his life. That must have been devastating, Mark said, feeling a surge of anger toward this unknown man. Olivia shrugged, but Mark could see the lingering hurt in her eyes. It was a blessing in disguise. If he couldn't handle this, he wouldn't have been able to handle any of life's challenges. And there are always challenges, wheelchair or not. Mark thought of Lisa's illness, how they'd faced it together until the very end. Yes, there are, he agreed quietly. What about you? Olivia asked. Your wife's illness, was it sudden? Mark nodded, feeling the familiar ache in his chest whenever he spoke of Lisa. Very. She was diagnosed and gone within 6 months. Brain tumor. One day she was helping Emma with her homework, and the next she was having seizures in our kitchen. Olivia reached across the picnic blanket and took his hand. I'm so sorry, Mark. The hardest part was explaining it to Emma, he continued, finding it surprisingly easy to open up to Olivia. How do you tell a 5-year-old that her mother is dying? That there's nothing the doctors can do? How did she handle it? Better than I did, in some ways, Mark admitted. Children are resilient. She still has moments where she breaks down crying for her mom, but they're less frequent now. She keeps Lisa's memory alive in her own way. She has a special box where she puts things that remind her of her mother. Seashells from our last family vacation, a lipstick she used to watch Lisa apply, little notes Lisa wrote her. Olivia squeezed his hand. She sounds like an amazing little girl. She is, Mark agreed. And she's very curious about you. She wants to know if you like ice cream. Olivia laughed, the sound warming Mark's heart. I love ice cream. Chocolate chip cookie dough is my favorite. That's Emma's favorite too, Mark said, smiling. She thinks everyone nice likes ice cream. Smart girl, Olivia replied. The ice cream test is very reliable. As they packed up their picnic, Mark gathered his courage. Emma has been asking to meet you. Would you be comfortable with that? Maybe ice cream this weekend? Olivia hesitated, and Mark could see the mixture of emotions crossing her face: hope, fear, uncertainty. Are you sure? Meeting your daughter is a big step. I'm sure, Mark said, realizing as he spoke that it was true. But only if you're ready. Olivia took a deep breath. I'd love to meet her. That Saturday afternoon, Mark brought Emma to the ice cream parlor where they'd arranged to meet Olivia. His daughter was practically bouncing with excitement, having changed her outfit 3 times that morning. What if she doesn't like me, Daddy? Emma asked as they approached the shop, a hint of anxiety creeping into her voice. She'll love you, Mark assured her. Just be yourself. They spotted Olivia waiting outside, her wheelchair positioned near a bench. She waved when she saw them, her smile nervous but genuine. Hi, Mark said, suddenly feeling nervous himself. Olivia, this is Emma. Emma, this is my friend Olivia. Emma stepped forward, studying Olivia with undisguised curiosity. My daddy says you draw pictures for books. Olivia nodded. I do. I draw animals and children and magical places. Can I see sometime? Emma asked. Of course, Olivia replied. I brought something for you, actually. She reached into her bag and pulled out a small sketchbook. These are some drawings I did this week. I thought you might like to look at them. Emma took the sketchbook reverently, her eyes widening as she flipped through the pages filled with whimsical illustrations of animals in human clothing, fairy tale castles, and children having adventures. You made these? She asked in awe. I did, Olivia confirmed. They're beautiful, Emma breathed. Then, without warning, she stepped forward and wrapped her arms around Olivia in a hug. Thank you. Olivia's eyes met Mark's over Emma's head, surprise and emotion evident in her expression as she carefully returned the hug. You're very welcome, Emma. The ice cream outing was a success. Emma peppered Olivia with questions about her illustrations, her wheelchair, which Olivia answered with patient honesty, and her favorite books. By the time they finished their ice cream, Emma had declared Olivia the coolest grown-up ever, and extracted a promise that Olivia would teach her to draw animals someday. As they walked Olivia to her van, Emma skipping ahead, Mark felt a sense of rightness that had been missing from his life for a long time. She's amazing, Olivia said softly. You've done a wonderful job with her. Thank you, Mark replied. She likes you. A lot. The feeling is mutual, Olivia assured him. She has your eyes, you know. And your kindness. Mark felt a lump form in his throat. Lisa would have liked you too. Olivia's eyes softened. That means a lot to me. As their relationship progressed over the following months, Mark and Olivia navigated the complexities of blending their lives. There were practical considerations. Mark's townhouse had stairs that made it difficult for Olivia to visit, so they spent more time at her accessible apartment. They had conversations about independence, about how Olivia valued doing things for herself even when they took longer. Mark learned when to offer help and when to step back. There were difficult moments too. The first time they encountered a restaurant that claimed to be accessible but wasn't, Mark witnessed the frustration and humiliation Olivia felt as they had to leave. He saw the stares of strangers, the well-meaning but condescending comments, the way some people spoke to him instead of directly to Olivia. It's like I become invisible sometimes, Olivia explained after one such incident. Or they see me as an inspiration just for existing, which is almost worse. What can I do? Mark asked, wanting to understand. Just see me, Olivia replied simply. Not as a wheelchair user first, but as a woman who happens to use a wheelchair. That's all anyone wants, to be seen for who they are, not what they use to get around. 6 months into their relationship, Mark realized he was falling in love. The thought terrified him, not because of Olivia's disability, but because loving someone meant risking loss again. One night, after Emma had gone to bed, he confessed his fears to Olivia during a phone call. "I'm scared," he admitted. "When Lisa died, it felt like someone had ripped out part of my soul. The thought of going through that again." "I understand," Olivia said gently. "Love is the bravest thing we can do, especially after loss. But Mark, none of us knows what tomorrow brings. My accident taught me that. We can only choose how fully we live today." Her words resonated with him, echoing something Lisa had said during her final weeks: "Don't let fear of losing love keep you from finding it again." The next weekend, Mark took a significant step. He invited a contractor to his home to discuss modifications that would make the townhouse more accessible: a ramp at the entrance, widening doorways, a stair lift. When he showed Olivia the plans, she was speechless. "You're doing this for me?" she finally asked, her voice thick with emotion. "I want you to be able to come over whenever you want," Mark explained. "I want Emma to be able to show you her room, to have dinner at our table, to be comfortable in our home." "Mark, these modifications are expensive," Olivia protested. "They're worth it," he said firmly. "You're worth it." Tears filled Olivia's eyes. "No one has ever done anything like this for me before." "Get used to it," Mark said, kneeling beside her wheelchair and taking her hands in his. "Because I love you, Olivia Chen. And I want to build a life with you, if you'll have me and my occasionally moody 8-year-old. Olivia laughed through her tears. "I love you too. Both of you." The renovations took 2 months to complete. The day they finished, Mark invited Olivia over for a special dinner. Emma had helped him cook, setting the table with their best dishes and carefully arranging flowers in the center. When Olivia arrived, she navigated the new ramp with ease, her eyes taking in the widened doorways and open floor plan that allowed her wheelchair to move freely throughout the main level. "What do you think?" Mark asked nervously. "It's perfect," Olivia replied, her eyes shining. "It feels like home," Emma suggested, appearing from the kitchen wearing an apron too big for her small frame. "Yes," Olivia agreed softly. "Like home." After dinner, while Emma was showing Olivia her room via photos on Mark's tablet, her bedroom was upstairs, still inaccessible without the stair lift that would be installed the following week. Mark slipped away to retrieve something from his office. When he returned, he found them laughing together, Emma explaining the elaborate backstories of her stuffed animal collection. "I have something for you," Mark said, his heart pounding. He handed Olivia a small box. She looked at him questioningly before opening it. Inside was a key. "A key to the house," Mark explained. "So you can come and go as you please. But it's also symbolic. Emma and I were talking, and we both agree that our home isn't complete without you in it." Emma nodded enthusiastically. "We want you to live with us, Olivia. Daddy said we could convert the downstairs office into your drawing room, and you could help me with my art projects whenever I want." Olivia looked between them, momentarily speechless. "You want me to move in?" "Eventually, yes," Mark said. "When you're ready. No pressure, but the invitation is open." "We love you," Emma added matter-of-factly. "And Daddy smiles a lot more when you're around." Olivia laughed, wiping away tears. "Well, I wouldn't want to deprive you of your father's smiles." "Is that a yes?" Mark asked hopefully. "It's a yes," Olivia confirmed. "But I have one condition." "Name it," Mark said. "I pay for half of the remaining accessibility modifications."